Because sir, my slide is showing there.
Now, I would.
Yeah, your first slide is there, sir.
Slideshow is there.
Yeah, it is there, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Now, I would like to brief about our expert profile. Mr. Ram Gopal Gupta is an associate professor, Department of Computer Science, School of Management Sciences, Varanasi, with more than 16 years of experience. He has done MTech, MCA, PGDCA, pursuing PhD in area of machine learning and data mining, Sun certified Java programmer and Oracle certified professional, Google certification in digital marketing, recently published a book on COVID-19 pandemic effect, issue and challenges in educational system, published various research papers in reputed national and international journals, providing consultancy to Sorrel System Private Limited and IT firm. IT support to startups like Varanasi Booking.com tourism firm. He is also topper of various NPTEL courses. Over to you, sir. Mr. Ram Gopal Gupta, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much, Shobha ma'am. Thank you, Vishal sir and Hanumanta Rao sir, for inviting me in such a wonderful international faculty development program on digital learning with multidisciplinary approach. So again, thank you.
Your brief introduction given by our Shobhaji ma'am is really remarkable, and all the points that has been written to us, like you have been supporting the startups, you have done really remarkable jobs for the social cause also, and I think the participants will really feel enriched today from your this great presentation, and we are really lucky to have you from SMS Varanasi, sir. Thank you, sir. Good. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So I will try to maintain the deliberation at par so that I can fulfill all the expectations of your audience. So thank you so much. So before starting this my deliberation topic on open source softwares for technology-enabled teaching learning, the theme of this FDP is digital learning. Digital learning is not only talking about the developing the e-content or delivering the e-content, but we should have the sufficient infrastructure for that. Whether your institution is providing, if they are not providing, they have to provide. Because in coming days, it would become the mandatory part of any higher institution or even in schools also. Just like the building and classroom. So it would become necessary. Not necessary. It would become the mandatory part of any institution. So my topic of deliberation is open source softwares for technology-enabled teaching learning. Before that, I just wanted to show the disclaimer that whatever content I am showing here, that is not basically the original content of mine. I have got all these things from some research articles, from various websites and books and reports, and all those things are placed here. So that is the disclaimer, and the reason behind is showing this disclaimer is now we are going towards the digital learning. We are moving forward towards the e-content development. So we have to always honor all those whose content we are going to show onto our e-platform. Because whenever you are posting anything onto the web, that is accessible from all over the world. So that should be original. It is mandatory. Just like whenever we are writing any research paper, it should be checked whether it is copied from somewhere. If something has been copied, you have to give the proper reference of that. Same way, if you are developing any e-content, you have to give the proper remark of the reference from where you have collected that particular image or the clip or the content that you are going to paste in your e-content. So my topic is about, just wait, sir. So my topic is open source softwares for technology enabled teaching learning. Basically, teaching learning is the main part, and other rest two things, technology and open source softwares, are just an enabler. They never become the main part of any teaching learning process. Here I'm not telling that we can replace the traditional teaching with the virtual classroom. Here I am talking about the concept of the blended learning, because in coming days the universities will form a mechanism in such way so that a part of a curriculum should be covered through the online mode, and rest part should covered into the physical mode. As we know, in this pandemic situation, in next session, most probably the classes will run through some restrictions, like we have to maintain the social distancing. So if a classroom is having the capacity of 60 students, how will you maintain the social distancing? But obviously we will plan for that. And what would be the planning? It may be you will call 20 students in one day, second 20 in second day, and third 20 in third day. Or you may divide the 60 student class in two parts, 30 and 30, to maintain the social distancing. So these 30 students will come in Monday, second 30 will come on Tuesday, again Wednesday will come the first 30 students, and so on and so forth. So in that case, what will happen? You will have a fixed lecture plan, you have a fixed workload. So for example, you have a workload of 50 lectures in a week, just for an example. So if a class will divided into two parts and you are taking to cover a syllabus for 50 lectures, that means you have to take 100 lectures. So it would not be possible. Then what will happen? It means your workload will remain same 50 lectures, but you have to cover your course in 25 lectures. So the subject which was covered by the 50 lectures, now you have to cover in 25 lectures. How it will become possible? Just because of the concept of blended learning. That means you will cover the concept into a physical classroom. You will give the overview, or you will discuss all those points which may create doubt in our student mind. That will be covered into the physical classroom. And the detailed material of that class or that topic will be uploaded in some place where the students can access them, so that the concept of that topic is covered into a physical classroom, details has been covered through an online board. That is the concept of the blended learning. Now, coming to my point, my topic is open source for technology enabled teacher learning. So here basically there are three main points: open source softwares, technology enabled, and teaching learning. So as I have told you earlier, that the open source softwares and technology both are enabler for the teaching learning process. So first I will talk about teaching learning. What is teaching learning actually? So teaching learning is basically a fixed plan. When we as an academician allotted a particular subject, we have to design a lecture plan. And on the basis of that lecture plan, we are taking our classes. So we are a deliberate intervention that involves planning and implementation of instrumental activities and experience to meet intended learning outcomes according to a teaching plan. So that is fixed. Means if you have to cover this particular syllabus in such a in 40 lectures, then you have to follow that plan. You cannot deviate from that. So that is the fixed part. Now come to the learning. It can be defined as a relatively permanent change in a individual's behavior. Here we are talking about the student's behavior. So whenever you are delivering something, whether that is absorbed by the students, that can be measured through KSA, knowledge, skill, and attitude. So when we are delivering content to our student, basically we are delivering the knowledge. And that knowledge is converted into the skill. When the knowledge is used to solve the real problem, that will become the skill. And attitude. When a student applying their knowledge to solve the real problems, they get the confidence and it reflects in their attitude. So that is the KSA. And moreover, apart from the teaching and learning, the main part is teaching learning process, because the teaching, suppose 2 plus 2 is 4, everybody knows. But how that concept will deliver to this student, that is very important. So it is a most powerful instrument of education, that is the teaching learning process. For example, suppose I am teaching a programming language like C++, for example. And suppose Professor Vikas Singhal sir also teaching the same subject. But the way of teaching is different. The students in the class of Professor Vishal are enjoying and taking much more interest in C++. Even the concept will remain same, syllabus is same, lecture plan is same, but they are getting much more from their lectures. But when I am teaching, the students' attendance is very low. Even the subject is same, topic is same, material is same, then where is the difference? Why the students are not taking the interest? Just because of the teaching learning process. It may be that the Professor Vishal is taking the classes in such a way where they are involving the activities, where they are conducting some quizzes, they are giving some real-time assignments, so that a student can understand whatever theory we are studying, where we can apply. So that makes the difference. So that is known as the teaching learning process. And technology here plays an important role. Now come to the next slide. That is here we are talking about the technology enabled teaching learning. So why we are involving this technology in teaching learning? As we know, ICT now becomes an important part of our life. So we can use this technology for augmenting our quality education and for the expansion. That's why we are going for the technology enabled teaching learning. And how we can do this? We can do this through the IT infrastructure, a good IT infrastructure. Here I'm talking about the IT infrastructure. It doesn't mean the physical. It is the combination of physical infrastructure, physical IT infrastructure, as well as the virtual infrastructure. Physical infrastructure means, do you have the projectors? Do you have the smartphones? Do you have the smart boards or touch screens? And if we are talking about the virtual infrastructure, do you have the good internet Wi-Fi connectivity inside your campus? Do you have the rich e-content that can be catered to our student? So here we are talking about the technology enabled teaching learning, because in traditional teaching we are having a chalk and duster and a blackboard. So if you want to focus on a particular concept, what will you do? You will repeat it again and again, or you will write that in a very emphasized manner. So that thing can be done in a very effective way through ICT tools. You can use the projector, you can use the PowerPoint presentation, in which you can, if you want to focus on a particular topic, then what will you do? You will change the color, you will make it bold, and you will put any animation in that. So that will make your teaching learning much more effective. Because the ultimate objective is that knowledge should be converted into skill and make change in the attitude of your student. So that is the basic concept. Now, open source softwares. What is this open source software? So basically, it is a type of computer software in which source code is released under a license in which copyright holder grants users the rights to use, study, change, and distribute the software to anyone for any purpose. Open source softwares may be developed in collaborative public manner. So they are known as open source software just because their source code is open for everyone. Everyone can change that code. Anyone can change that code. Anyone can use for his or her purpose. Even anyone can repackage it and deliver it to their client. Even nowadays, LMS becomes much more popular. So then what the companies are doing, they are just downloading the open source software, LMS packages, repackage it, placing their logo and customize it and deliver it to their client, and costing for that. Even they are free for everyone. But they are doing, even anyone can do. So I will discuss on this particular open source softwares for the teaching learning in next slides, in later slides. Now come to the next. So if we are talking about the teaching learning through the open sources, that means we are talking about the e-learning. So the e-learning is having two parts. One is the e-content development and second one is the e-content delivery. So you have to develop your content in such a way so that students can enjoy it. It is an art, and you will understand after developing the e-contents 1, 2, and 3. Then you will understand how to deliver the e-content, how the students are enjoying, what should be given into that e-content. So here I am given a diagram. E-content is having two parts: e-content development and e-content delivery. And for the e-content development, we are having several open source authoring tools, screen recorders, and utility tools. Authoring tools are the tools through which you can develop your e-contents. Just like everyone is using MS Word. So that is also an authoring tool where you can develop your e-content, and you can convert into PDF form, or you can transfer it in PDF or in original form. But there are several other contents through which you can write develop your e-contents. Basically, they are having the facility to design your SCORM packages for the e-content. So that there is a term I have used here, SCORM. Basically, it is a shareable content object reference model which can be fit with any LMS. And the screen recorder. So what is the problem with the e-content delivery? Your e-content should be an effective way, should be delivered in an effective way. How can I do with this? Suppose just wait, sir. Suppose I'm presenting this presentation in front of you, and through this presentation, I'm also mixing my voice over onto this. I just wanted to record this so that this presentation can be delivered to our student. So when they are free or we are having the good connectivity they can play back it. So screen recorders can do this. And there are several open source screen recorders who are really giving the rich functionality. And we are having some utility tools like compressing the images, merging the audios, capturing the videos. All those are considered into the utility tools. Now come to the e-content delivery. So e-content is now developed, prepared. Now how to deliver it? It is again very important. So delivering a content is something like you are delivering your lecture into the classroom. So in traditional way, you are having a medium through physical classroom. In physical classroom, you are delivering the lecture to your student. But in case of e-learning, how will you deliver? You can deliver through the CMS, content management system, and through learning management system. Here I have used the term CMS. Basically, CMS is the solution when you are a freelancer and you want to publish your e-content onto the web, and that can be accessible from anyone. But in an institution, we want a system with certain boundaries in which only our student can have the access on those developed e-content. Then we have to go for the learning management system. I will cover all these. So come to the open source softwares for authoring tools. For authoring tools, there are these. This is the list of the open source authoring tool. There is no need to pay for that. These are the CourseLab, GlowMarker, Open e-learning, LAMS, EXE Learning, OpenOffice, LibreOffice. All these are authoring tools. So it basically facilitates the teachers in developing the e-contents. Now the utility tools are for some of the image editors like GIMP, Blender, and the audio editor. The audio editors are Audacity, and 2D for making the 2D pictures and animation you can use the Pencil 2D, and for again image editor you can use the Krita. Basically it is meant for the 3D pictures. So these are the open source softwares, and there is no need for taking the license of all these tools. They are free. You just download, and if your systems fulfill their hardware or software requirements, minimum hardware software requirements, then you can use it. So these are the authoring tools, and these are playing a very much important role in case you are developing the e-content. Now, these are some free screen recorders like ShareX, Open Broadcaster softwares, Cam Studio, Simple Screen Recorder, Virtual Dub, and Capture. These are the screen recorders. Just suppose this presentation is going on. I have downloaded the OBS and installed it and start the recording. The audio and video, whatever is going on to the screen, that will be recorded locally. And when this presentation will over, I can see the presentation. Even I can share it with our student. So the same way, if you are taking a class of any programming language or suppose any management subject, you have created the PPT. You just start taking the class in your laptop inside your cable and start your OBS. So whatever is going on to the screen, that will be recorded with your video, with your audio. Even you can stop your video. You just wanted to merge your PPT with your voiceover, you can do this. These are the functionalities which are given in this screen recorder, and they are having some differences in between. So it is up to you which is best for you, or which you like most. So in my opinion, as I have observed, OBS is the best screen recorder. Now come to the content management system. So here I have talked about the content management system for delivering the e-content, but it is not fulfilling the requirement of an institution. And for the content management system, you can use the WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, Ghost, Fork, Bolt. These are the free open source softwares. You can download it from their website and configure it in your system. You can configure it in your cloud, and you can publish your content onto your website, onto your platform. So these are the these are very easy to implement. But if you really want to go with this, I will prefer the WordPress. This is the simplest form of publishing any e-content onto the web. If you are a freelancer or if you are a teacher and you want to serve the society by delivering your e-content to your student, to your not only the student but to the society, then you can do this. Sorry, I can't. So here I was talking about the CMS. So I will prefer, if you are a beginner, even if you are not a beginner, but you want to only deliver the content to the society also, you can go for that. Even I am also using it. My website is ramgopalgupta.com, where I am placing all my e-content, and that e-content can be shared with my student as well as all those students who are seeking for particular details on a particular topic. They can get from there. So that is developed on the WordPress site. You can also do this. And one more thing, most of the cases, open softwares are using the open source technology. Even all these tools or even CMS or DLMS are developed on the technology PHP and MySQL or MariaDB. Reason is they are again the open source. So if you are using all these open source software, there is no need to take the license from the vendor, because they are comes under into the GNU license. Now, learning management system. This is the present and this is the future. Any institution, even now it is going to become mandatory. Even I hope AICT make it mandatory for every institution that they should have to implement the learning management system, LMS. And I will prefer you have to go with the open source softwares. And this is the list: Moodle, Canvas, Sakai, OpenEDX, Tutor, Camellio, OpenLMS. But as per my opinion, Moodle is the best. Even all these LMS are giving the same functionality, moreover, little bit difference. But Moodle is the standard one. It will not solve your purpose of delivering your e-content. Even it will help your institution. If you are an higher institution, and if you need a good grade in NAAC, or if you want to become NBA accredited, then go for the Moodle. It is a worldwide well-known LMS. If in front of your NAAC peer team or your NBA peer team, you will say that we are using the Moodle learning management system to deliver the e-content to our student, they will very much impressed. Even they will not ask what it actually do, how it works, because it is worldwide known LMS. Everybody knows how it works, what are the functionalities, how it is generating the reports, and they are meeting all the requirements of any higher institution as well as fulfilling the requirement of any school also. Even world's top 100 institutions and universities are using this LMS. So I have placed a picture here in which you can see there is a classroom with some technology enabled gadgets like projectors, and there are some traditional equipment. By traditional means whiteboard and a student is having marker and professor is delivering the lecture. So whenever you are taking a lecture in physical classroom, you can use all these facilities. You can deliver the lecture, you can present your PPT through projector, even you can ask the question. Of course, we cannot replace this medium. We can never replace. But till a certain extent we can do. That's why I was talking about the blended learning. So in coming session that will happen, and certainly it will happen. You will be bound, you will be enforced for the blended learning, in which you have to cover a portion into your physical classroom and some portion you have to cover through your digital classroom. So the benefit of this blended learning is, suppose you have taken a lecture. Now, you want to observe whether the students are getting your point or able to understand your concept. You have conducted a quiz. In a physical classroom, how can you conduct a quiz? Suppose you have asked a question. Who will give the answer? Either one student, two student, or three student. How can you observe the rest, whether they are getting your concept or not? Then you will realize if there should be a mechanism through which a question will be fired to each and everyone give the answer for that. And again you will realize there should be a mechanism through which I can understand how many students are giving the correct result, the correct answer, and how many of them are not giving the correct result. And if you will calculate the percentage, and if it is more than 60 or 70, it is your criteria whether the student are getting your point or not. If they are more than 70, that means they are getting. Okay, but in traditional classroom, this is missing. If you will implement the concept of blended learning, so you will take a lecture in your classroom and make a quiz into your LMS, and you will inform your students that you have to appear in that quiz, complete it by morning, and tomorrow we will discuss on that. So your workload now has been reduced for taking the quiz in your physical classroom, recording the responses of the student manually, and again generating a report of those students who are securing less than 50%, or means we can talk about the weaker student and the brighter student. You can differentiate through your technology, which is very much tedious in case of offline mode. So basically in this figure, I just wanted to tell you that here we are delivering the content that is in physical form. Same way, the same thing if you want to replace, means we want to deliver our e-content to our students only, not the student of other colleges. So if you are implementing the CMS, content management system like WordPress, that will be accessible to your student as well as the students of other colleges. So that will become a CSR activity. But if your college is saying that is my asset, only my student having the right to access this data, this e-content, then what we have to do? Then we have to go for the LMS, learning management system. We have to deploy a learning management system in your institution. And for that, all the necessary infrastructure should be provided. Of course, the whole complete software is free. Complete software is open source. You can customize it. But for deploying that open source software, the sufficient, the relevant, the minimum requirement of the IT infrastructure should be provided by an institution, and that is mandatory. Now, what actually, I am just covering the Moodle LMS, what it actually do, and how student and teacher can get benefited from this. And I am telling you, Moodle is very popular LMS. And again, same product, Moodle, is repackaged by the software companies and they are delivering to the institution, schools and colleges. Even you can also deploy it in your institution. You can deploy it in your internal network. You can deploy it in your cloud also. Even cloud will become the much more beneficial. Reason, in this pandemic situation, everyone is in their home. So if a teacher want to deliver its e-content, how it would be possible if that system will deploy into the cloud? And how the student will be able to access it if it will be deployed onto the cloud? So the basic purpose of this Moodle is, the Moodle is also having a full form modular object oriented dynamic learning environment. This is the complete full form of the Moodle learning management system, through which you can distribute your e-content to targeted audience. Here I have used the target audience, means targeted students. So if you are taking a class in MCA of subject, suppose object oriented programming in C++, so only those students should be able to access your e-content. It would be possible through the Moodle LMS. And for that, what is the prerequisite? You have to deploy the data of all these students, courses, subjects into that course, and the teacher subject allocation. You have all those things you have to configure in this LMS. Then, if a teacher is delivering an e-content to a particular class, that content will deliver to only those students. No one else can access. Even if you want that this e-content or this particular assignment should be placed to this group of students, then that can be also possible with using this LMS. In traditional classroom, what we will do? We are delivering the lecture. And then we are asking any doubt, any confusion. So somebody can ask any question. It may happen in a traditional classroom teaching. Same thing we can do this, but a real-time interaction is missing. We can also configure the discussion forum in LMS, in which you have taken a lecture, you have delivered a lecture, and if somebody or any student is having any doubt in that lecture, they can post their queries into the discussion forum. And what is the benefit? Benefit is, sometimes a student is asking a query about a particular topic. It may be solved by another student. That is the advantage in discussion forum. So that will become a collaborative learning process in which student can solve their queries with each other, or even concerned subject teacher can interfere in between, can also put their suggestion in that. So there is a provision. We can also give the assignments, and as well as we can also do the evaluation in this platform. We can also conduct the quizzes and tests, just like even before discussing this quizzes and tests, I'm just telling you, even most of the higher education institutions now become the local chapter of IIT Bombay spoken tutorial. Even the method which they are using to deliver the e-content and the platform they are using, that is also the Moodle. They are also using the Moodle platform for delivering the quizzes, conducting the quizzes, and delivering the e-content. Now you can understand the reliability of this platform. Now IITs, IIMs are using this platform. It means it is having a good recognition. Even your institution can use it. So I was talking about the quizzes. You can also conduct the quizzes Even there is variety of questions you can put into that. You can give here the matching questions. You can give the matching question in your quiz. You can give the missing keyword questions in that. And for every question, you have to give, and you can allot the marks. Even there is a provision of negative marking also. And you can schedule that quiz for a group of a student or for all the students. And through which you can check, you can evaluate whether the students are getting your concept. You can evaluate their performance. You can segregate the students group, A group, B group, and C group according to the performance into the quiz. And accordingly, you can plan for the next.
बाकी सब नीचे बते रहे हाई फाई लगता है रोज और बाहर पार्किंग तक आ जाती थी हाँ की.
Okay. Next, there is also facility of the grading. So when you are giving the assignment, you can evaluate them. You can also grade them, and a student can check their grade, their marks in quizzes through their dashboard. Now, online classes. We can also conduct the online classes. This is again very important. Now, in today's scenario, what happens? When even most of the institutions, schools, and universities are taking online classes through Zoom or through Google Meet or through WebEx or through any medium. But we have found some limitation in that. And what is that? That is, when you are scheduling a class through Zoom, you are sending a URL, a meeting ID, a password for that. So that meeting ID or URL can be shared with anyone. Means if you are teaching in SMS Varanasi and scheduled a class through Zoom, the same using same meeting ID and URL, another student of other college can attend your class. So how can you monitor? How can you control it? Either you have to check how many students are joining your class one by one, then which is not the part of your college, then you have to remove it from your meeting. So it will become a very tedious task. But in Moodle, we are having a functionality, and that functionality can be integrated with Moodle. That is not by default into the Moodle, but that can be integrated into the Moodle, and that is known as Big Blue Button. That is again the open source software. Even you will not believe there are so many vendors who are selling this open source software to the schools and colleges for online classes, just like the Zoom and WebEx. And that is the open source software and free for all. And we can integrate that Big Blue Button with our Moodle LMS. Now, what is the benefit? Benefit is, in Moodle, you have deployed, you have configured all your students and mapped those students with the courses and the subjects. Now, if a teacher is taking an online class for a particular subject, then he will schedule an online class, and through Big Blue Button, it will take the online class just like we are delivering. I'm delivering the lecture here. But the advantage is only those students will be able to join your class who are the part of your Moodle. Means your student. No one else can join that particular class. So that is the big functionality that you can use with the open source software learning management system. I am not saying that you have to use the Moodle. If you are getting the same functionalities with others, you can go for that. I'm just suggesting those software which I am using actually, even on which I have already worked. So all those things you can do. You can also generate a report of students' progress. Suppose you have delivered the e-content on Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and given some assignments, given some quizzes, and at the end you want to check how many students have been completed all those activities. You can get that report, and for using that report, you can give them internal marks also. Now, this slide actually shows you the credibility of the Moodle. Around the world, approximately, this is not my data, it is given onto the Moodle website. You can see this is statistics. 1,62,000 sites are using Moodle LMS. They are schools, they may be school, they may be higher educational institution, and around 260 lakhs courses are configured into that. And this is the statistics of the Moodle. And this is the statistics of approximately 246 countries are using this LMS. And this is the data of top 10. In United States, the renowned, well-known universities and institutions are using it. They are 12,097. In India, it is 12,082. IITs, IIMs, NITs, even now IIT BHU has started to work on Moodle. In the recent pandemic situation, they was also trying to choose a platform through which they can go for the delivering the e-content. So they have opted the Moodle open source LMS they are using. So now you can understand the credibility of this open source software. So this was all about the open source softwares. So Professor Vikas sir. Hello.
Ji sir.
Sir, can I give a brief demonstration of this Moodle platform?
Yeah, the access is with you, sir.
Okay.
However you want to use, you can use it, sir.
Okay, so I am giving you.
You can open it. You can open your browser and share. You can unshare this and then share the browser.
Okay, sir. Okay, no issue. So I'm giving you a brief idea how basically this Moodle works. So this is deployed in our institution. So I have deployed it onto the cloud. Now how
that will be great. That will be great, sir.
Okay, so I'm just showing you how it actually works. So it would not be possible to tell you how to configure it, but I can show you how an institution or teacher or student can work on to this platform.
Okay.
My screen is visible, sir?
Yeah, you have to unshare your slide first.
Okay. Can I share my entire screen?
Now you can share anything, sir, and you can share your desktop.
Desktop.
Or whatever you want to share now. That PPT is now you have done it. Unshare ho gaya wo. That has been unshared.
I just wanted to share my browser window. Where is the entire screen option?
Sir, once you open your desktop, so at the bottom, if you can find the Zoom button as share screen.
I got it. But there is no option of the screen sharing. The different applications are showing here.
You have to open one screen which you want to showcase first.
Okay. So
without sharing, you first open. Now it has come.
Okay.
It is moodle.smsvaranasi.com.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it is showing, sir.
Okay. So basically, this is the interface that we have configured in our cloud, in which we have configured this Moodle application. So if any student or any teacher or administrator want to go and explore the Moodle area, then they have to first log in. So I'm just logging it through my ID. I'm also the Moodle administrator as well as the teacher. So first I will start with my teacher login. Actually, here I am using my personal email ID because I am administrator as well as the teacher. So it will not take the single ID for the two logins. So I have logged in into my dashboard. So here you can see these are the subjects which are allotted to me. These are the list of the subjects. So suppose I am taking the class of C programming in BCA second semester. When I will click here, I can see, you can see the content, whatever I have uploaded it through unit wise, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, and unit 5, unit 6. All these contents are uploaded here. So one by one, I am explaining you. This is the announcement section. Even in higher education, we have all gone through the NPTEL courses, and some of us, we have also done the workshop of this is spoken tutorial. The environment is almost same. So in the announcement section, I can announce whether I'm going to conduct a test or I have uploaded any new notes in a particular unit or a particular topic that is placed onto the announcement section. We can also having the option of polling. Suppose I just wanted to know whether I have to conduct a quiz on data structure or I have to conduct a quiz on file handling. I just want to get the opinion from our student. We can do this through this polling option. So this polling is basically closed, which was scheduled earlier, and this is the discussion forum. In discussion forum, the students are placing their queries on a particular topic. As you can see, there are several discussion topics, and students have placed their queries, and I or my students have replied into that. Just like if I'm clicking on this, suppose a string, a student has written a program, write a program that converts a string like 1, 2, 3, 4. How can it would be possible? I have given the explanation. He replied, okay, sir, I'm able to understand. So all these things are done through a virtual platform. I am not going into the college. Students are not coming into the college, but things are going on. So that was the discussion forum. Now come to the unit wise. Here I have put it the unit wise details. In unit 1, topic is array. So the content which is uploaded, that is in PDF format. If a student want to see that content, just clicking on this and just wait. He or she will be able to whatever content has been uploaded, he can see here about the array topic array. So that is the content. He or she can download it from here. Same way, I have conducted a quiz based on the concept of array. So when I will click here, or a student will click here, this quiz was conducted earlier, but in the morning I have extended its last date of submission till 16 June, means today date, and till 5:30 p.m. So you can also schedule a quiz for 1 or 2 days, and you can mention at what time it will expire. Till then, student can submit their answers. Even you have the choice, you have the setting whether a student can upload their answer one time, or they have the chance of change those answers. So you can give the number of attempts to them also. So Hanumanta sir, are you online?
Yeah, I am there, sir.
Hanumanta sir, I have created your login in my Moodle.
Okay.
Can you log in?
Credentials.
I'm telling you. Credential Hanmanta sir, email ID is the user.
सर वो JSS वाला डाला है आपने hrao@jssatn.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
Let me ask Hanumanth Rao sir only to log in then. Rao sir, are you there?
Yes sir.
जरा लॉगिन करिए जैसे गुप्ता सर जैसे बता रहे हैं सर बाय योर आईडी.
Or even if he is not able to, even I can do this with the next browser. So this next browser is visible?
हाँ, it is there.
Okay, this Moodle login screen is there?
No.
No. So if I'm going to
आप इसी में गुप्ता सर आप इसी में एक और टैब खोल लीजिए.
सर प्रॉब्लम ये होगा ना सेशन क्रिएट हो चुका है तो वो लॉगिन दिखाएगा.
ओके 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 तो यू हैव टू हैव अनदर ब्राउजर दैट मींस तो आपको फिर ये अनशेयर करना पड़ेगा.
ये अनशेयर करना पड़ेगा. ओके एनीवे लीव इट. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू अ ब्रीफ आइडिया. सो आई एम कंटिन्यू विद द प्रीव्यू हाउ द क्विज एक्चुअली कम्स onto the students part dashboard. So I have given these questions. What is the array? These are the options. Student can select one or more from here. So this is the interface. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions are there. Here the marks are given. Now when the student will submit it, automatically the calculation of the marking will done. But remember, when the exam will over, that is the setting with the teacher, whether they want to show the correct answer at the time of submission or they just wanted to display their results, after the expiry of the quiz. So it would be safe to declare the result after the completion of the quiz. Reason is students can guess what is the correct answer or the right answer. They can convey it to the other student also. So there are certain things that you can do. So that is the quiz part. We can also give the assignment. In case of assignment, just like this, assignment based on the concept of array and structures. If I am clicking here, so 80 students, there were total 110 students, 80 were submitted the assignment. This is the summary. We can also see the view assignments, view submissions. It shows the list of the students who have submitted the assignments. Even I can grade it. Suppose I'm just clicking here for the grading.
So time stamping is there, Sir Gupta sir, isme?
Yes, exactly. Everything is there.
Okay.
So the assignment which is submitted, that will come to here. See, this is student. This is the smartness. Students submitted the assignment, a blank page. Software will give the report. Assignment submitted. Then you have to go one by one to check which assignment they have to submitted. Then you have to give the grading and all. So I'm again clicking here assignment. View all submissions. Clicking here. It is generating the PDF. These are the questions which were given to the student. They have submitted it. I hope there were 5 questions. So that's why it is submitted. 5 pages. So it is submitted the answers. You can grade here. You can write the comment, and those comments and grade will be reflected to the student login. At the same time, you can also check the report. So if I will go to the more option and go to the activity part, activity report, here you can see these are the content which were uploaded onto your Moodle. And how many students were viewed it? 97 users viewed your assignments. How many times? 584 times. So it shows the latest data. So that is the cumulative data. But you can also generate, you can also get the reports like activity completion. Here you can see these are the activities which were created under your subject by you. Announcement, quiz voting, discussion forum, demo online class 1 on topic, declaration, quiz based on the concept. All those key contents means activities are given there, and you can see the check boxes. It shows these students were active. These students were open, were involved in these activities. So this is the report that can you download from here also and use it for your internal assessment or the performance of the student. Okay. Now, one more thing which is again very important that I wanted to show you, that is the online class. I have conducted an online class. Just want to check whether my big blue button online tool is working or not. So whenever I am taking the online class, after 1 or 2 hours, it will revert back me the recording of that online class. So I'm showing you the recording. So even you have the facility, whether you want to make it visible to your student, publish it, or you don't want to publish it. So if you don't want to publish it, it will be shown on to your dashboard only. So if you publish it, it will be shown to your student. So when I will click on this presentation, so whatever my recording, that can be replayed by the student at any point of time.
Now I'm going to start the topic file handling that we will discuss.
So that was all about, there are a lot of things that we can do with this, but it would not be possible all those things in 1 hour or 2 hours. It needs a whole day.
Yeah, a lot of modules are there in this, I believe.
Yeah. So all these things are open source, but the tricky point is its configuration. Even we are also providing the consultancies to the other institutions and schools to configure it. But I just wanted to give you a brief idea, even all the participants, that we can go for this. Even it is the need of the current, in present time. Even in future, we have to conduct the classes in blending mode. That was all about the sir.
Yeah, it was a wonderful session, sir. Over to you, Shobha ma'am, for the queries of the participants.
Thank you, sir, for nice and informative session. Few questions participants have raised their question. So how might we combine technology with other tools to grow learning?
Sorry, ma'am, can you repeat?
How might we combine technology with other tools to grow learning?
Okay. Suppose even in current scenario, you can see you are forced to use the technology. It is not your choice. You are bound to use the technology. So if you are having a need how to make an effective presentation, how to give the voiceover onto the presentation, then you will explore the web. Is there any tool to give the voiceover onto the presentation? Then you will find that, oh, I am using the MS Office 2010. It would not be possible. But if you are using Office 2016 or higher version, we can do this. Or you will get a screen recorder software through which you can embed your audio with your PowerPoint presentation and you can record it. So with the technology and with you can say whenever the need arises, you will get the options.
And the next question is, so can we set timer with test on Moodle?
This is the issue, but you can do this. You can do this. Suppose you have scheduled, you can schedule an exam, you can schedule a quiz of 1 hour, but that quiz time should be 1 or 2 days. Or you have to increase your hardware software resources at your cloud. In our case, we are having suppose 2000 students and we want to conduct a quiz for all 2000 students, then we have to stop all the services onto the server and allocate all the resources for the quiz purpose. Then we can do this. But as far as my concern, then you have to schedule the quizzes for a certain period, like 1 or 2 days, just like in NPTEL, or you can see in your spoken tutorial, they are giving 1 day or 2 days to submit the assignment, to complete the quizzes. Same way you can do this.
The next question is, they are asking for show the assessment process in Moodle. Assessment process.
Assessment process. Okay. They are okay. I'm just showing you. So can I share my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going to log in with admin account. Even our teacher can also see the assessment of a particular student or the whole class. So anyone can see the assessment, but teacher having the rights to see only the assessment of his or her allotted student. So I have conducted a quiz on the concept of array. So I just wanted to see the assessment, the result. Here I have clicked here, clicked on the result. This is the result part. Roll number, student name, username, email, status, when he has submitted, when he was started, completed, how much time he has taken, and this is the result. Yeah, and this is an extensive result. Question wise, you can see the result. This is automatically done. But whenever you are giving an assignment, in that case, you have to give the grades on the assignments manually, because that is subjective matter. In this case, it is objective. Answers are fixed. So it is automatically evaluated. I hope when I answer diya hoga.
So the next question is, can mathematical problems can be given?
Yes, yes, we can give mathematical. There is an editor where you can give the equations. Even you can also configure some plugins, special plugins for the mathematical or even chemistry related questions in that. You can configure it here.
Okay, the last question is, what is the difference between Google Classroom and this Moodle?
There is a lot of difference. See, Google Classroom basically used in their area. Means everything is hosted onto the Google. Whatever facility or whatever changes they are doing, you are bound to implement. You are enforced to use them. But in case of Moodle, that is in your environment. You can customize it as per your need. For that, of course, you need some technical expertise, but you can do this. And that is in your premises. That is your asset. But if you are posting anything onto the Google Classroom, that is not your infrastructure. This is the major difference. And one more thing. Google Classroom basically dealing with the scenario where the school teacher can also deliver the content and hire a teacher, a lecturer, or a professor who are taking the classes into the higher institution. They can also use that. That means they are having a hybrid type application. But in case of Moodle, it is matching the standard of higher education. It is matching the standard of worldwide education. That's why Cambridge University, Shanghai University, IIT Bombay, all these are using this Moodle application. So the main advantage of this application is you can configure it in your infrastructure. This is the major plus point of this application. And you can give the resource URL to the accreditation team like NAAC and NBA that we have developed this e-content and placed into our institutional learning management system. And this is the URL that will be recognized. They will count and they will give you the point for that.
Thank you, sir. I hope our participants' doubts has cleared. I, on behalf of Department of Computer Applications, JSSAT Noida, I extend my deep gratitude and vote of thanks to the today's experts who spared valuable time from their busy schedule and make all the sessions very informative and interactive. Thank you, sir. Over to you, HOD, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So once again, Gupta sir, we would like to take help from you to be a part as an administrator that you have already worked with your institute and you have been supporting them into I think the best possible way. I would also like to take this help and configure it for JSS college if permission is given to me from the management side. So I would like to take help from your to the possible extent from your end, if you could spare some time for us.
Of course, anytime you can ask any help, you can get any support from me. Even within 10 to 15 days, I'm going to conduct a webinar on this particular, completely on Moodle.
Okay, so let us know so that we can also join and understand the concept of it and how to have the credentials created and work on it.
Definitely.
So, like, it will be helpful for everyone.
Exactly, for everyone.
And
yes.
Since it's an open source, so since it's an open source, so let us find out with the management if we can do and proceed in the, you can say, interest in the interest of everyone, right? So thank you so much for the day, and it was really a remarkable presentation from your side, which is a need of everyone around the globe, not only for my one-to-one, it's for the globe, even for the student side, even for the teaching fraternity, you can say, or anybody you can say, it's a requirement now. And it's not only because of this pandemic, but it will be existing now for the entire life, I believe, which has made us learn the digital learning. So I believe with this, we can wind up the session. And thank you so much for your valuable time. And from the management of JSS Academy of Technical Education, Noida, and from the entire team of our International Faculty Development Program, I once again thank you and for your kind support. Thank you, Ram Gupta. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance to deliver or share my ideas in such a nice platform. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So participants, we are ending up with this session. We have already given the polling and shared the feedback as well as the quiz part on your groups. So you can proceed with that. And tomorrow 9:15 and 9:20 a.m. again we will log in for the end of the day of this end of the, you can say, international faculty development program. And please do join us for the last session, and please be there till we end up with the valedictory part of it. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Shobha ma'am, for your kind support for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. अच्छा अभी से record